on to talk through this one with me. And Chris, it's funny, this seems to happen every night now, that round about sort of 7 o'clock UK time, we're looking at it and saying, oh, this is going to go right down to the last match, and we're going to have so many players battling for semi-final places. And then one or two results come in, and it sort of clears it all up, and we're pretty close now to knowing our semi-finalists. We could actually have that all resolved in one rack from now.
Yeah, Billy Thorpe just needs to win one rack to get to the final 4 players to the semi-final. And if Fortunski does win this match up against Albin Ocean, then the result of this match won't matter for Roberto Gomez.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, because he would go to 2 wins and 21 racks, and the best Roberto Gomez can do is to get to 2 wins and 16 racks. It's really been such a different day from today. We've talked about this a lot during the week, how players have been so different from one day to the next. I think this is the most extreme example of it. Roberto Gomez, remember, was 1 ball away from winning the group yesterday.
Yeah, and that could affect him for quite some time. He had a wonderful opportunity, but somehow threw it away.
And we all called it, didn't we? We all said after it that could really have an impact on him. A bit like Fortunski the other day when he was 4-1 up in the semi-final and lost. Didn't seem the same player at all the next day.
Yeah, and Albin was exactly the same when he lost in the final the day after. He couldn't get to grips with the table, the speed of the cloth. And at one point I thought Hugh was going to get javelled across the room.
So not many dry breaks this week, but Billy Thorpe had one, and he could pay for it here.
Yeah, they're pretty nicely set out of these, and Roberto doesn't normally need more than one chance to run out, but for some reason today he's not been at the races really. He's missed a few easy balls and lost position.
His only win was against Mark Bijsterbosch by 5 racks to 3. His 2 most recent defeats were both 5-0. He started the day with a hill defeat to Mieszko Fortunski.
Yeah, and he's not played a bad shot there from the 3 to the 4 ball. That was a wonderful screw back off 2 rails, 3 rails even, to get perfect position for the 4. He seems like he's hitting the ball good. He's just missing 1 or 2, and that's what's costing him. Not got much to do with the cue ball here. He's perfect onto the 6, position to the 7 automatic, and he couldn't ask for a better start than this, and he will be breaking in the second.
Yeah, the day just got off on the wrong note for him. He was 3-1 up against Fortunski, who then came back to win 4 of the next 5. It's a dry break from Billy Thorpe, and as we suspected, he is going to pay the ultimate penalty. Roberto Gomez leads 1-0 against Billy Thorpe. It's been a funny sort of day for him. We talked there about how he's done in terms of results, Chris, but also he's got involved in 1 or 2 controversies. There was a refereeing dispute. He was also spoken to about his conduct in the chair. I don't think he was deliberately trying to do anything, but I think he was sanding his tip or whatever. So it's just been a complete contrast from yesterday, when he was just flying through his matches and playing so well for most of the day.
Yeah, and the problem is when you're playing tournaments that aren't on television or live streamed, then you can kind of get away with that, but when you're playing on live television, you've got to act professionally. You know, don't get angry with yourself and don't start throwing the cues. You know, it may look good on television, but you're only affecting yourself. And you've got to stay positive every single shot that you play, whether that be a safety or a pot. And even when things go against you, don't let it get to you.
Yeah, and as you say, it could all be in vain, whatever he does in this match, because Mieszko Fortunski can eliminate him from the Championship League if he wins against Albin Ocean, and he might very well. He's 2-0 up, as I was saying. Ocean did really well, actually, to play a kick shot to pot the 1, but he followed it in with the cue ball. So ball in hand for Fortunski, and he's closing in on 3-0 there.
Another good break from Roberto, but just look at that. The only 2 balls that are tied up, the 2 and the 8, and he needs to get the 2.
.42 years of age now, Roberto Gomez. First came to real prominence with a stunning run to the final of the World Championship in his home country back in 2007. And was only just edged in the final by Darrell Peach, but he'd knocked out so many big names along the way, and the astonishing thing about it was he beat most of them by really big margins. Niels Fine was one of his victims. That was 11-0.
Yeah, and he beat Carl Boyes in the semi-final, I think it was.
Yeah, from 4-0 down, he won 11 racks on the bounce. So it wasn't all big names that he beat, Chris.
That was probably his easiest match, to be fair. Oh, and that's a little unfortunate from Billy. Played a good jump shot there. Not quite sure if he's left it on. If he hasn't left it, Roberto Gomez will be going up and down the table to try and kick this 2 ball in. Well, he's looking at swerving it. How do you reach this? Roberto's only about 5'5", so may need the spider, turn it round on its side and bend it round the 6.
Yeah, he was going to have to contort his body into all sorts of shapes and positions there if he was to attempt to play the shot he was considering.
Yeah, and I think he should be going up and down here, personally. And he's just relied on pure luck to get away with that one. If he goes up and down, as long as it's a 2, he probably makes it. Well, this is the rack that Billy Thorpe needs. Only needs to win the 1 rack to qualify for the final 4. I don't know if he's aware of that. He should be if he's looked.
The thing about it is, there's such a quick turnaround between matches that players don't even really always get time to take stock of where the results leave them and what the implications are. So it's a good point you raise. He may or may not know that.
Yeah, and he's played a really poor shot there to get on the 6 ball. Could have used 2 rails and would have been guaranteed position on the 6, but decided to try and hold it. I still expect him to make this 6, but now he's going to have to spin the cue ball. Well, he's missed it by some distance.
I think you called it absolutely right, Chris. You said it would be one that he'd be expected to get, but you indicated there was a chance he might not. Ragged start, you have to say.
Yeah, and Roberto's got to play a really good shot here. For me, he's got to clip the 6 ball if he can and send the cue ball to the bottom rail. And I think he's scratched. Oof, it just stayed out.
He's had a result there, hasn't he? But has he left an outside chance on the 6?
He has, but when you look at the last shot that Billy missed, it was a lot easier than this one. Brilliant shot there from Billy.
Isn't it funny how often that happens, that someone misses a sitter and then immediately after it produces something like that?
Yeah, digging down, stunning it off the side rail, top rail. That was a lot more difficult than what it looked. And 2 balls for Billy Thorpe to get to the semi-final once again.
Yeah, it would be his 3rd time. He's yet to go any further. He's been within a rack of the final both times. And the easiest 9-ball you will ever see takes Billy Thorpe into the semi-finals in Group 6 of the Predator Championship League. The only way he could miss out would be if he'd lost 5-0, and that can't happen now. So Billy Thorpe joins Alex Kazakis, Albin Ocean and Mark Beisterbosch in the semi-final stage. Kasper Matikainen misses out, but I think he's going to be pretty happy with his day's work in the end. He got off to such a dreadful start, and to have finished up winning 3 of his 6 matches is a pretty good outcome from where he was earlier. Let's see what's going on next door, because there's still something riding on this. Mieszko Fortunski 3-1 up on Albin Ocean, and in play with a chance to make that 4-1. Now if he wins, then Roberto Gomez is out of the tournament.
Yeah, and he's in with a good chance here to run out. Playing rail first, you would think. Well, he did, but he didn't quite catch it right. Still got a good shot at the 3, but he'd have liked to have been closer to his work. And that's what happens when you don't get perfect position. You've got to pull out a big pot. And Fortunski misses a 3-ball.
So back here, Billy Thorpe probably quite relieved to be 1-all really, and to have got that rack, given that he's played some ragged stuff in the first couple of racks.
Yeah, and you would think if he did know, he'd be a lot more relaxed by now, knowing that these racks really don't matter for Billy. Time to let his arm go, free the arm up, no pressure. But he's got slightly fortunate on that one.
Now you said, Chris, we don't know whether Billy Thorpe knew his situation, that he only needed 1 rack. Equally so, Roberto Gomez may not be aware of his situation, may not have grasped that even if he wins this match, it might not be enough. He may be out there, for all we know, thinking this is basically a case of win and go through to the next group.
Yeah, and Albin Ocean looks like going 3-2 behind.
Yeah, he's 3-1 down at the moment, as we saw, but he's got a simple 9-ball now, so he will go back to 3-2. He needs 1 more rack to finish in first place in the group for the 3rd night in a row.
Nice safety shot there from Billy. As we spoke about before, these Filipinos are up there with the best in the world at the kick shots. There's always a little luck involved, but more times than often they hit the object ball.
That was your fault, Chris.
Yeah, it's always a commentator's curse.
You're right, though. It's funny how different nations have different strengths in this game. You talk about the Philippines players and the kick shots, and we were talking earlier about how the Americans tend to be the best at the tactical side of the game. The Europeans maybe nowadays have a tendency to excel in the shot making. So it's just interesting to see how in such a global sport you have so many different little strengths. I mean, to make it to the top, you've got to be pretty good in all departments. But there are definitely differences that you notice. Not covering all players, of course.
Yeah, technically, I think the Europeans are a lot better than any other nation, along with Chinese Taipei. Technically, they're really good. But the Americans seem to stand side on the ball, and if you look at Billy, his arms bent, his legs are bent. You know, and it's just what works for you, really, but under pressure, that's where it's going to show up. He's done a Cal Boys.
Oh, it was never that bad.
It was easier.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that is the easiest pot we have seen missed in the whole tournament.
Well, I can beat that one because Albin had the 2-ball hanging over the pocket, and I mean hanging over the pocket, and he missed the ball completely.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that one then. That tops that any day of the week. We're used to seeing it in various Q Sports events. Best shots of the tournament. Maybe we should have a worse shots.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's good to see the pros miss.
Oh, we love it. Us amateur players, we love seeing you guys look bad. Makes us feel a little better about our games.
Well, if he hasn't snookered Billy, he may regret his next shot. This is close to being a foul. Now that was good. Has the 8-ball got in the way? That is unbelievably lucky if it has, and I think it has.
I tell you what, you want Marcel Eckhart more than any other referee in a situation like that, because he's so meticulous and just observes everything so well. You know you're not going to get a wrong call there, whereas some referees might just get it slightly wrong because you've got the two balls so close together and it's such a tight call.
Wow, and Roberto scratches. Well, he's not getting the best of luck, but when you miss a 5-ball like he missed, then I'm afraid you get everything you deserve.
It's been a strange old match so far. I've seen some really dreadful shots, you have to say. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. A few quirky little happenings as well. Billy Thorpe just needed one rack to clinch his place in yet another group semi-final. He's already got that in the bag. And here comes another one as well. Roberto Gomez just clinging on to his place in this tournament. He's definitely out if he loses this one, and he's trailing Billy Thorpe 2-1. Back in a moment.
Going to the bottom cushion, maybe off the 8. Oh, trick shot by Woodward. What a shot by Evolution.
One thing's guaranteed, that shot will appear on plenty of highlight reels.
Whoa, did he split the wicket? What a beautiful shot that was. What a beautiful execution.
Look at this. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes it's best if you get up to the table and just hit the ball.
This championship is being played with the new Aramith tournament set. Featuring a unique molecular structure, it guarantees razor-sharp precision and unsurpassed longevity. Unquestionably the best pool balls in the world, this set is available in a TV and a value pack version, as well as in the new My Aramith Ranger of Ball and Q cases. Now you can bring and play with the best ball set everywhere you go. My Aramith, bringing new dimensions to your billiards experience.
Saturday night pool. Some of the world's finest here in Milton Keynes for the Championship League. You wouldn't know it though from some of the play we've seen in the early stages of this match between Billy Thorpe and Roberto Gomez. They've both had a few shockers along the way. Bottom line though, Thorpe leading by 2 racks to 1. So that's already enough to secure his place in the semi-finals. Gomez starts in the 4th.
Good break once again from Roberto, but he's getting no help at all from the pool gods. He's not got a clear shot once again, so he's going to have to play another safety.
Well, it could all be in vain anyway, because Mieszko Fortunski is on the 6. In rack 7 against Alban Ocean, it looks like he's going to complete a 5-2 win here, and that will mean that he will definitely finish in 6th place, and Roberto Gomez will be the man to be eliminated, because this would take Fortunski to 2 wins and 21 racks, and the best Gomez can do is 2 wins and 16 racks.
Yeah, and he's got the simplest of 8s. And now he's dead straight on the 9, and Mieszko Fortunski lives to fight another day.
It'll be his 6th day, because he's been here since Group 2, got off to a flying start, won his first 4 matches on Tuesday, ended up losing 5-4 from 4-1 up in the group semi-final against Kelly Fisher that night. He's not been quite the same player since, but with 2 wins out of 6 today, he's done just enough to stay in for tomorrow. He had actually lost 4 in a row before beating Alban Ocean, so it was a good result to pull out. And that basically means the major issues are now resolved. Roberto Gomez, it's a funny thing about round robin formats when you've got simultaneous matches. He's playing away here, totally unaware that in the last few minutes he's gone out of the tournament.
Yeah, and that's the good thing, is that none of the players can see how the other match has got on. So in Roberto's eyes, he's still in this match and he's got to win this rack and win this match. He's played another slack shot. Should make the 7, but He has missed easier during this match. And like we said before, one slack shot leads to another. Does the 8 ball slide in the side pocket? From where Roberto's looking, that side pocket will look tight. So he's probably going to play it in the top left-hand corner. Just needs to control his cue ball. And he's missed that by a long, long way.
Yeah, you called it. It's really been a catalogue of errors so far this match. And in the case of Gomez, most of the day. So the 8 wriggles in. We've seen these missed. Although, if Thorpe knows that he's already through to the semi-finals, it'll make a shot like this that much easier. (3-1) then to Billy Thorpe over the now eliminated Roberto Gomez. So Chris, you're looking forward to Monday? You've been waiting a long time for the winners group.
Yeah, it seems like forever. I've been waiting more or less a week. Qualified last Monday evening, well, early hours of Tuesday morning.
Yeah, you kept us up late that night.
I like to keep you excited, keep you in a job.
Well, you certainly managed that, Chris. But yeah, how are you feeling about it? I mean, have you been practicing much through the week? Do you feel the game's still there? The game that got you through in the first place?
No, I've not hit a ball since I qualified, if I'm being perfectly honest. I decided to let the other players practice while they're still playing in the qualifiers, in the group matches. So I'll be practicing tomorrow, though. I'll be putting a few hours in. Hopefully play like I did in the group stages, well, especially in the semi-final and final. And you just need that little bit of luck at the right moment. Obviously every player that's got through has got through by right, and it's not going to be easy, but as long as I play well, I'm happy. Whether I win it or not, I just want to play well. That's the main thing for me, because if you're going to be playing well, then you're always going to be a danger in every tournament that you play in.
But it would be fantastic, wouldn't it, to be there on Monday night, holding a trophy, coming through a field like this, to have that feeling again after so many years in the game. There's no denying that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I've won quite a few tournaments on the American calendar, the China Open and the Derby City 9-ball, the Derby City straight pool. And I've done quite well in America every single time I've been over there, won quite a few tournaments. But to win against the big boys, there's no better feeling.
Yeah, and as I was saying there, to still be able to do it, having been around the scene for so long, would be wonderful longevity. Anyway, that's to come on Monday. Tonight, it's 3-1 to Billy Thorpe.
And once again, a nice split. Tricky little first shot, queuing over the 6. Needs to be a little bit careful. You don't want to impart any kind of side spin on these shots, so Billy will probably come back across the table for the 2-ball in the same pocket. Important that you hit the centre of the cue ball playing this shot. And he played it perfect. Well, I hate to say it, but that 9-ball what Roberto missed yesterday is going to haunt him for a long, long time.
Yeah, it would have given him victory over Naoki Oi, and he could have been the one we'd be talking to about how he was feeling about Monday. He would have been through to the winners group. Now he's out of the tournament altogether.
Yeah, and once again Billy Thorpe played a real poor positional shot from the 2 to the 3, which made him play the 3-ball and go into the 4. May have fallen lucky, he might be a clip off the 4 and pot the 5. Not 100% sure where the 4-ball's going though. Well, it's gone absolutely perfect. Very fortunate there that Billy had that that clip off the 4 to make the 5, but he'll take it. Marcel was like an hawk looking at that one.
Oh yeah, Marcel doesn't miss anything.
Yeah, and for me, he's the best referee. You know, that's not disrespecting any of the others. They all do a great job. It's not easy, and mistakes happen. Like we said before, you're there for 12 and 13 hours watching every single rack. Mistakes do happen, but few and far between.
He's a very prominent snooker referee as well. Took charge of last year's World Championship final, actually, between Ronnie O'Sullivan and Kyron Wilson. And Billy Thorpe is taking care of business. He now leads Roberto Gomez by 4 racks to 1. Now, Chris, eyes down on the group table here. So by my reckoning, Alex Kazakis has finished in first place because he's finished on 25 racks with 4 wins. Alban Ocean was beaten 5-2 there, so he also finishes on 25 racks and 4 wins, but he's now lost 15 racks.
That's correct, so the table lies with Alex at the top.
Here it is now, actually. Kazakis has only lost 13. So Kazakis finishes first, Ocean finishes second, and now it's a matter of Bijsterbosch and Thorpe. But of course Thorpe has now overtaken Bijsterbosch on racks won, and they're on the same number of matches won. So Billy Thorpe finishes third, and Mark Bijsterbosch finishes fourth. What do you think, Chris? Is that right?
That's 100% correct.
Am I the new Carol Vorderman, Rachel Riley, whatever?
Well, I had to put you in order a little bit earlier, but yeah, you're not bad.
Okay, I'll settle for that. High praise from the first man to get into the winners group. So that means then, looking ahead, Alex Kazakis, who only came in today, remember, plays Mark Bijsterbosch, who's in the same boat. And then the other semi-final will be Alban Ocean against Billy Thorpe.
And another dry break, and I hate to say it, but I don't think they were touching. I mean, they haven't split whatsoever.
Again, that's our fault, isn't it? Because we were praising Marcel so much. But we're not criticising him in saying what you're saying, because it's very, very hard to get it right. Especially as the refs have actually come under a bit of pressure from some of the players this week to get the balls racked a bit quicker.
Yeah, it's never the player's fault. Did you not know that one, Mike?
I know that. I've spoken to enough pool and snooker players over the years to know that golden rule.
Yeah, if you look at the percentages, then percentage-wise, you get a good racker probably 95% of the time. It's just the odd time you might get a bad break, or there might be a small gap somewhere in the rack. But all in all, the referees do a really, really good job.
I don't think people really grasp the level of concentration that's required for hours and hours. I mean, all these refs are doing 8 matches a day here. You're on your feet for all of that as well. At least the players get to sit down for a bit. We sit down all the time.
Yeah, and Billy kind of threw his arm at that one. He just made a bank shot and went for another one. And I think he's got lucky again. He's not left Roberto the 4-ball.
There's an air of resignation on the face of Roberto Gomez. I think he knows his race is run. His big chance was last night. And without wanting to be harsh about it, he knows he blew it. And today, it's almost felt as if subconsciously he felt he didn't deserve to stay in the tournament. I'm not saying for one moment that he hasn't tried, but these things get in your head and you start to doubt yourself. You really don't have much chance.
Yeah, and you know what's going to happen here, Michael. He's going to kick this and probably snooker him behind the 6-ball. It's just how the game's gone. Billy's got away with a few things when he's made bad errors. Well, he's missed it completely. I bet he couldn't do that again if he tried. Just look at that gap. How on earth has a cue ball gone through that gap?
Yeah, that's amazing. Stick him there with a bucket of cue balls. Tell him to try that all afternoon. Look at that. That is absolutely tiny. You couldn't get an ant walking through there.
Come on, Roberto. Let's see a hill-hill match.
He's given a lot to this tournament during the couple of days he's been in it. Some very good pool. A dreadful miss on the 9. One or two little controversies as well. But Carl said it last night when he missed that 9 ball. It typified his career, really. He's got so much ability. When he plays well, he can play really well. He's not afraid of reputations. What he is sometimes afraid of, it seems, is getting the job done and getting over the line. Can you change that at the age of 42? He should certainly try, because he's got so much ability, as I say, and there can still be good things ahead for him in the game.
And I'll tell you what, if that is welded to the rail and the 9's welded to the rail, he can't pot this unless he spins the cue ball. Everybody at home think this is easy. He's got to spin this with left-hand spin.
Yeah, it's so hard when they're both on the rail like that. Oh, job done though. Well done, Roberto Gomez then. He extends his stay just a little longer. Billy Thorpe leads Roberto Gomez by 4 racks to 2 in Milton Keynes.
Maybe off the 8. Oh, trick shot by Woodward. What a shot by Evolution.
One thing's guaranteed, that shot will appear on plenty of highlight reels.
Whoa, did he split the wicket? What a beautiful shot that was. What a beautiful execution.
Look at this. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes it's best if you get up to the table and just hit the ball.
Sporting events should not be held until there are no new cases.
Well, that's right up there with me. No crowd, but who needs them? Just in terms of pure potting ability, he's just one of the best we've ever seen.
Oh my word. Incredible.
What a power-packed partnership it is. Start the engraving process.
Roberto Gomez, maybe on his phone there, is looking for flights back because he's going out of the tournament. He's still clinging on in this match against Billy Thorpe, trailing by 4 racks to 2. They both know their fate now. Thorpe will finish 3rd and will be in the group semi-finals. Gomez comes in bottom and is out.
Yeah, and Billy will want this over as quick as possible. And what a split he's had there.
Just want to update the situation then with the semi-finals. As we said, Alex Kazakis will play Mark Bijsterbosch. Just to correct what I said earlier, I was saying this was Beister Bosch's first group. He was, of course, involved yesterday. But it is the first group for Kazakis, and he will meet the Dutchman. Now, ordinarily, that would be played here on Table 1, but because we know that one and they're both free to get started, they are now going to start over on Table 2, which means the other semi-final between Albin Ocean and Billy Thorpe will follow on this table, and that's the one we'll be talking you through just a few minutes after this one finishes. Nearly finished there.
Yeah, nice little shot there on the 4. He played a bad positional shot from the 3 to the 4, but made a good pot and back in prime position.
Yeah, the 9 briefly flirted with the corner pocket. Is this any sort of advantage now? Ooh, he's missed that one. As we say, it's all pretty much academic at this stage though, Chris. So Billy Thorpe is going to have played this match and then stay on the table to play his next match. But they've all played on these tables so much, it's probably not any great advantage for them in the semi-final to follow.
Yeah, you'd think it would favour Billy slightly, because he's obviously coming off this table where Albin played on the other one.
So you reckon it could make a difference?
It could do. That obviously the speed of the table could be slightly different from one room to the other one. But one thing for sure, he can't keep missing the chances he's missing. That was a glorious opportunity.
I think one thing that's pretty clear is he's going to have to raise his game significantly to have a chance against Albin Ocean.
Yeah, Albin's been very good today. He's kept his head, stayed focused. And it can't have been easy. I mean, he's done it for 6 days now, so it must be getting to him a little bit. He keeps getting to the semis and somehow getting beaten. But like we said earlier, keep knocking on the door and eventually it will open.
So Roberto Gomez, he's going down, but he's going down swinging. And he may yet win this last match. It won't be enough to keep him in the tournament, but it would still be a nice way to round off his involvement in the Predator Championship League. He trails 4-3, and he'll have the break in the next rack. So do you know where your cue is, Chris? I mean, you haven't played since Monday. You're telling us you've not practiced. Are you sure it's not buried under a pile of clothes somewhere or something up in your room?
It's probably buried under a few salt and vinegar crisps. Yeah, it's in my room somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where, but it's definitely there.
Well, you might want to go and have a look for it after we finish here, because you're going to need that tomorrow for some practice, and hopefully you'll still find the time to come and join us for a few matches as well. Billy Thorpe there, giving a big yawn in his chair. He's been talking about how he's been feeling a little better every day. He's had the jet lag. He's not been feeling particularly well. But I think his improving health has been reflected in the quality of his pool.
Yeah, he's certainly got better every day. Giving his head a little dab there. He's probably a little bit warm out there with the lighting. It's very warm when you're playing under the TV lights.
Yeah, some players really struggle to adjust to that. Some never do. Gomez to break, 4-3 down.
Well, he didn't hit them great, and it's probably the best break he's done. It's so strange. I mean, he's completely mishit them. The cue ball's been kicked. One ball's been kicked. Made 2 balls on the break, and he couldn't have asked for them to come out any better. Well, he's not bad, but he should have been half ball on that 3 ball. And what I mean by half ball is he should have hit that cue ball a lot softer and left a cut into the corner. Would have offered natural position to come down past the 8 ball and be perfect on the 4. Now he's going to have to screw back this. He's overreaching. He's going to be close to the 9. Well, we may see Roberto play a combination 6-9. Not quite sure how else he can get position unless a 6-ball passes a 9. I don't think it does.
Well, he's got just the perfect angle here on the 4 to set himself up for that. And I think you're right, I don't think the 6 passes, so he must be planning the combination. This isn't guaranteed though, Chris.
No, it's he can miss this. Obviously he's got to hit it in the right spot to make it.
A lot of distance between the 6 and the 9.
Wow, and did you see the movement? He moved like crazy once again, and he needs to stop that. You know, if you're going to win these big titles, you're going to come under pressure at some point. And if you keep moving like that, then your back arm's not going to hold up, I'm afraid.
Just can't get over the line, can he?
Well, it's catching. And Billy's just had a nice roll, I think. I think he's got him behind the 9 ball. And he has. Both players laughing. It's good to see good spirit between these two good guys.
Well, one of two things seems to have happened to Billy Thorpe. Either he did know that he only needed 1 rack, and maybe his mind is just drifting a little bit to the semi-final and his focus has gone in this match, or he thinks he needs to win the match and he's still feeling the pressure. I'd say it's more likely that he did know the position.
Yeah, and Roberto just give that a whack and kind of hoped, and Billy's got another chance here. Where's the cue ball? It's close.
Ooh, no, I think he's okay.
Well, he's a little bit straight. He might be able to just draw the cue ball back past the side pocket.
Well, you would say this should be over now, but with everything we've seen before, let's not bank on it just yet. Well, we probably can now. Billy Thorpe only needed 1 rack in this match. He's taken 5 and has won by 5 racks to 3 against Roberto Gomez, who bows out. He's given us some good memories over the last couple of days, but he will be eliminated. Billy Thorpe, on the other hand, goes through to the semi-finals, and he plays Albion Ocean on here